What did I say in the other one? Oh, hello! When I did the other armchair almost a year and a half ago, I said that I had another one to do, and time has gone by and it's time to do it. I think the other video I called it easy upholstery or something like that, because I made a cover that then I stapled on the bottom of the armchair. But this one I just want to leave it as a cover, because in the future I would like to upholster it properly when I get my hair round this cushion bit. I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to follow the same method I did, more or less. The advantage of this method is that because we're going to follow all the lines and all the curves, and the cushion is going to be covered separately, the cover stays in place and it doesn't move at all. We've been using the other one ever since I made it, and it's perfectly fine, and it has a toddler jumping on it quite often. How much fabric do you need? I'm not sure. I'll tell you at the end of the video, because I bought far too much. When I made the bed cover, I'll leave you the link in the description down below in case you haven't seen it. And of course, please subscribe, consider subscribing if you're not already. I upload a video every week, and that way you don't miss anything. So when I did the cover, I loved the material, I love working with it, I love the result. It's a really soft thing, and I went for something similar. But when I went in the shop, I went around the remnant box, of course, and they had these 3 meters of material, something similar that I liked. So I took that, and apart from that, I bought another 3 meters of different colors, because the armchair is going to be really colorful. If you follow this channel for a while, you know I like color. I've been doing colorful things lately for dressing, and of course I have colorful stuff around the house, for example the triangle wall. But that depends on the house and your taste. And of course, you have to take into account before you buy any fabric, if you want to pattern match anything, or if you want to center any pattern, you'll have to get some more. I have 5 colors to combine. I have a burnt orange, a mustard, a sort of avocado green, a blue that I don't have even a meter because it was another piece of remnant, and then a purple. And I have a few things in mind. For example, I don't want the mustard and the green to go together because I think they wouldn't look nice, and my husband and I don't like the mustard in the front because we really like the purple and the blue, so they are going to go on the sides. And the burnt orange, which is the big remnant that was cheap, I want to put on the back and on the seat, because it's the one that I have the most, so I don't mind wasting it on the back. Because I'm going to trace and cut on my fabrics, if you feel nervous about cutting good material, you can start with an old sheet and then trace it on your fabric. So I'm going to start by taking the cushion seat off, because I'll do it at the end, and start with the seat, tracing the back and then the part of the seat. The problem of this armchair is that the armrest don't have like a front. The other one I did has a front, so I did another piece of material apart from the arm one. But this one hasn't got that bit, so it comes all the way to the front, and with some plates it gives it shape. So I'm going to attempt the same. And for that I'm going to trace on the fabric, taking care that I cover everything and I'm not short. I took off the back cushion so I could trace the wings a bit more comfortably, and they go in this lovely blue. Look at this.
Isn't that beautiful? Really nice.
And after tracing them, I can sew them to the armholes, to the armrests. This is how we're doing. I'm quite pleased with them. The color is beautiful and it looks nice together. One thing I did to work with the material and not stab myself is to sew all the pleats together so I could take off the pins. And now I'm going to sew the middle panel to those two. Let's see if Maria Antoinette helps us here. I have here the middle panel, the back and seat underneath the cushion. I left it a bit gathered here because I have a cushion in between and I want the cushion to sit properly. So I did this. If you don't have that, if you have a normal seat, a normal back, don't do this. And then to sew it to the sides, I have my corner here. So what I'm going to do is to sew one side first, for example the seat. So to sew it to the side of the armchair, I have my side here. This is the corner, so I'm going to join corners. And I'm going to sew first from the corner to one side, and then when it's sewn, I can twist again and sew to the other side. This is how we're doing. I didn't have any problem sewing the central panel to the sides because I went from the corner down and from the corner up. If you try to do it all at once, it might be a problem because maybe you are not able to match the corners. But if you do it like this, it's easy peasy. The only problem with this type of armchair is that it has this cushion here. So you have to leave more fabric so the fabric hugs the whole cushion and it isn't tight, but as you can see it's okay, it's not moving.
To the sides.
To do the sides I'm going to do the same. I'm going to trace it from the armchair, and what I'm going to do is to use the piping, the original piping it has, as a guideline, and I already have cut the sides to its sides, so it won't be a problem. It will get right here. And one side is going to be mustard and the other side is going to be green, because I don't want them together, because I think they don't look nice together. And what else? And I'm going to leave a bit of extra at the bottom so I can hem it properly. Like this, it's easier to work it. I went a bit crazy, but I have an excuse, eh? I was looking, I knew I had a zip because I didn't use it when I made the bed cover. So I knew I had it, and when I looked for it, I found some piping already made with that fabric, because when I did it, I made extra, and I had a meter left, and I kept it because you never throw away anything. So I thought, well, maybe it looks nice to put it around the wings of the armchair. And it is this nice bright orange. It's brighter than the one I got now. It's the same one as the green I'm going to use on the other side of the sofa. But I did this one first because I was trying to see if I could manage. So I did. And I thought, well, now that I've done it, let me explain how to do piping, and that way if you want, you can do it. So you need some cord. Of course, when you go to the haberdashery, buy extra meters of stuff. And then what you want to do is to cut some 5 centimeters or 4 centimeters pieces of material to wrap it and sew it on top. And I'm going to sew it with a zipper foot because I think it's much better, because you can really get really close to the edge. So that way it's really neat and well, it looks really nice. And the same to sew it in the cover. You just put it right sides together and sew with the zipper foot, and that way it looks amazing. So I have my extra piping for a cushion to do later on at the end of the project, because right now I'm going to use the little bit I had left for that ear.
Oh yeah, that girl that always use orange piping, because I'm going to have piping forever.
This part we're going to do now is one of the trickiest, because we have 2 curves that go in different directions. So when putting them right sides together, we have nothing here. So we have to keep moving this one, the one that we're going to put on top, so it comes to this edge. And one thing you have to have in mind is that this is something that you're going to be having to modify all the time. For example, I did this seam so the pleats stay in place while I was working, and it was a bit easier. But now that I'm going to do this, I have to adjust them again just in case. So just be patient and don't be hard on yourself, because this takes a while. I just made one of the silliest mistakes ever. It's not even a beginner mistake, because I'm supposed to know what I'm doing now after all this project. And it is that I chose the wrong fabric. When I bought the fabrics, I bought all the same. The orange one, the mustard, the purple and the blue are all the same material. But then the green one isn't. The green one is another one, and you can see it's more rigid, it doesn't have, it's just more stiff. So I sewed it and it wasn't behaving as the rest, and of course it looked different, so it looked terrible. And I have to take it off, I have to rip it out. So if you're going to do something like this, choose the same materials, even in different colors, but the same ones, so it looks nice. Don't be like Irene. Now I'm going to cut the front bit at the bottom that is left, which is going in purple. And I'm going to take advantage now that I'm cutting and cut the back as well. This cover doesn't need any zips because you just pull it in tightly. So I'm going to just sew the back at the top, see how I'm doing, and then sew the sides. Because this slip cover is just a slip, it hasn't got any zips, and this bit is a bit narrower than the top bit, we're going to like cuddle the sofa while putting it on, not pulling down because we'll break it. So with the cover inside out and your hands on the wings, we're going to hug that bit so then we can slip the rest in. And now that it's lunch break, I'm going to take advantage of that time because I'm not going to touch it in like 2 hours and give it some wax for the legs, like for scratches and things like that. It's not like a varnish, but it will get rid of them. And now that I've tried it on, it's quite easily to put on and take off, so that's good. I'm going to hem the bottom, so I can then start with the cushion. I'm only going to make a simple hem, and I'm quite happy because the fabric doesn't fray or anything. I didn't have any problem sewing it, so that's good. Now that the cover is in place, I need to make the cushion, the one that goes on the seat. It has a strange shape, so that's why I'm not going to do anything special or even the piping, because I wanted the same color. I wanted it blue, that's the wrong side. I wanted blue, but the problem is that I don't have enough blue because this was only a piece of remnant. So I'm going to cover the top with the blue, like so, and the bottom will be orange, which is the one I have the most. And the piping I'll leave for a cushion, ornamental cushion. So of course I'm going to use a zip at the back, and because the armchair has split here on top and on the armrest, I'm going to do the same here, so that way I cover that strange shape, I don't leave seams, and it goes together. Now I'm going to sew the invisible zip, and that way the seat will be finished. For a few months I've been sewing zips with this hack, which is to sew your 2 panels of material together, then sew the zip on top of the seam, and then open that seam to reveal the zip. But with invisible zips you can do that, you have to sew it the normal way you do, which is opening the seam on top of each side and sewing each side. Because this was a last minute decision, I haven't got a zip in any of these colors. So I'm going to use an invisible zip in white. I'm going to try to sew it as tight as possible so you don't see it. And I'm going to put it right at the bottom. And then I'm going to do the piping on 3 sides. Because I don't know if I can manage zip and piping. To sew the invisible zipper, you need to put it in place and twist it so the dents are on the other side of the opening. In all decorating programs I do this with cushions. Well, this is the cushion. It's a bit tight. I think it has too much filling, but well, it doesn't matter, that's it. I'm quite happy with the piping. I think it looks nice, even the corners, which I was afraid of doing. And I didn't do, of course, the bottom bit has the zip, and I didn't do the piping around all the bottom because I was afraid I wouldn't manage with the zip. It's only the second time I do piping, so next time I'll be braver. But it looks nice, only 2 pieces of material, so... So this has been the project of the week. I'm really happy with the result. I think it looks amazing. It looks almost like you upholstered it. So it looks quite nice and it's not difficult to take off and put on again. I love how the piping looks. I think it gives it a little extra something. And I found really easy after I saw the piping to keep sewing with the zip foot. Because when you sew with your normal foot, it has 2 ends and sometimes your fabric gets caught there, especially when it is a bulky fabric or you have too many layers. But with the zipper foot, because it's only like a middle bit, you don't get that problem. You don't have any problem at all because it doesn't get stuck. So it was really good. Another thing that helped me a lot was to sew in white. Because the wrong side of the materials were black, I found it really easy because I could see better and my eyes didn't hurt. I didn't have any problem sewing the zips, which was good. And I'm quite happy in general. Of course, the color choice is something personal. I quite like color and my husband does as well. And it is for an open space which has lots of colors already. So I think it suits it really well. And the good thing about doing it is that you get something unique, something you don't find anywhere, and something that reflects your personality and your home. For what I remember, I think this one was a bit trickier to do, especially with the pleats that are on the armrests, because the other one I did has a different panel, another extra panel to sew it on. So this one was a bit trickier there, but it was fine to do. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you thought, and even if you make one, if you follow this tutorial, let me know. I would love to see a picture. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I would really appreciate it and it helps the channel a lot. And even you can share it with someone who likes this kind of content. Apparently my cart was full, so thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye!